I have the privilege of hosting the great Chinua Achebe as Culture Minister of Nigeria when he visited our country, his country in 1999, for the first time in a decade, after the tragic car accident that nearly cost him his life, but decisively left him wheelchair bound. As one who has been in government continuously since that time when Chinua Achebe came to his country, led various roles both in party and government, the ruling party and government. I think this is as good an opportunity as any. If it has not been done before, and it's possible it has been done before, and if it has been done before, it needs to be repeated many times over. The incalculable gratitude of all Nigerians to Bayard College and later on Brown University for not only giving the platform where this genius will continue to do what he knows how best to do, but indeed providing the advanced technological support that made it possible for him to continue to function to the highest level that is biology, even without the accident, will have enabled him to. Obviously, what Bayard University and Brown University provided for him is beyond the capacity and competence of my government, and it's only proper that we should register our deepest appreciation for that. Not only Bayard College and Brown University, but other wonderful institutions like Harvard University that gave me an opportunity for some role, and many other Nigerians, many other Africans, and indeed the entire global community. So at this event that I had the privilege, and it gave me great honor to accept that invitation. All of you know the great IROKO was a very choosy person, and he decided where to go and where not to go. So for me, as a young admirer of him, even from the less impressive world of law and politics, that he accepted my invitation as the then pioneer Minister of Culture and Tourism remains for me personally one of the high points of my public career. As key dignitaries of government and society, including names, very, very, very famous names in Nigeria like Bola Ige, blessed memory, and Adamu Chiroma, just to mention a few, gathered just some few meters away from the front door of my residence in Abuja to receive the father of African literature. I was stunned by the infectious, stoical smile on his face as he was assisted by Mrs. Achebe out of the van that brought in a specially designed wheelchair, the type of which I have never seen before then. Together with Mrs. Maduekwe, who's sitting here before me, and the permanent secretary and staff of the Culture Ministry, and the impressive assemblage of notables that have gathered on the concrete pavement, we had a memorable evening, as we intend to have again this evening, of music, tributes, and citations, together with the first and only National Creativity Award with a 1 million naira check as our token appreciation of a genius who has repossessed our national esteem for us as a people through his writings, starting with Things Fall Apart, even before nationhood. He taught us how our communities can begin to re-storytell our narrative, rather than leaving it in the hands of strangers of a life-denying agenda. When Chinua Achebe later invited President Olusegun Obasanjo to his 70th birthday ceremonies at Bayard College, New York, that brought into the same room Nobel laureates in literature like our own Wole Soyinka, Anthony Morrison. I was asked by the president to be the president's special representative, even though I had just been moved in a minor cabinet reshuffle from the pioneering culture ministry to the more fancy transport ministry. And you know why it's more fancy? That's where the big contracts are. No contract in culture. And culture was considered a posting to Siberia. Then I was now moved to the big one, Post Authority, National Maritime Authority. And the only person who expressed a disappointment for this movement, and I think he even considered it a demotion, was Chinua Achebe. And he was the only one who called to express his sadness about that movement. Every other call was so euphoric, so exciting, full of praises for me and Hosanna almost, that I couldn't take my phone calls again. The phone that went dead when I was posted to culture ministry now was nearly tearing apart with messages congratulating me. So the great Chinua, as I said, was disappointed by this posting. Because whereas numerous friends and associates put on hold their interaction with me when I was in culture, only to return in droves, shamelessly, when the announcement to transport was made, Chinua called from Bath College to express his sadness that I was leaving the culture ministry. And for me, one of my biggest delight, even though I wasn't sure I deserved it, and Chinua Achebe would not pay a company if he didn't make it, was for him to tell me on phone from Bath College, I thought you were doing a good job in culture ministry. Why are they posting you to transport? Well, I tried to console him. You know, we politicians, we have a way of putting a spin on everything. So I told him quickly, and it's amazing how I thought about that answer. I told him, Prof, you know, the Roman civilization was unimaginable without the Appian Way. Therefore, I want to believe that I'm going to transport ministry to provide wheels for culture. Only then did I have his blessings. And for me as the first transport minister to have authored a transport master plan, it never existed before. The credit for that goes to Chinua Achebe. Without this pledge I made to him, I don't think I would have felt the inspiration to now say, come on, let's have a theoretical basis for even beginning to do transport in Nigeria. You can see how culture can impact on politics. I've gone into this background to show that it's only natural that upon hearing of Chinua Achebe's death, I will call the scholar devotee of Achebe, a good friend of mine, one of the few in the community of critics who really understand the real Ojo Maduekwe. But we'll leave that for another day. Nduko Otieno was present at the Bath College Achebe's 70th birthday anniversary event. So I called on him to confer with him how we can get over some leading lights of Nigerian literature to be gathered here at Carleton University to bear witness to the greatness of Chinua Achebe. Although I represent the government of Nigeria in Canada, our preference from the very beginning have been and remains that this will be a private initiative by Nigerians in North America, especially Canada. Accordingly, no public funds have gone into this event, and none will be sought for the publication that will follow, including a documentary of what is happening tonight on NTA and other news channels. While the government I represent is immensely proud of the unquantifiable contributions of Chinua Achebe to the maturation of our national consciousness. Our government acknowledges that Chinua is too big to be owned by any government, whether in life or in death. In fact, he is too large to be owned by Nigeria alone. The African chief storyteller of the second half of the last century belongs to the pantheon of history's truly great. This genius moved humanity away from the abyss of Joseph Conrad's condescending description of Africa as the heart of darkness, although this is the cradle of civilization and all humans were originally Africans, to a new and more authentic narrative of the dispossessed. It was Chinua's own chilling observation that, and I quote, "An erosion of self-esteem is one of the commonest symptoms of dispossession," unquote. He spent his entire writing career spanning from when he wrote Things Fall Apart at the age of 29 to his last testament titled There Was a Country, a few months before he joined his ancestors at the age of 83, to exemplify our history's finest expression of his own observation that, and I quote, "Man is a story-making animal. He rarely passes up an opportunity to accompany his works and his experiences with matching stories," unquote. It was moving to read him explain with vintage Achebean candor in his 1998 Macmillan Stewart lectures at Harvard University, and here again I quote him, "I took a false step at the university. I enrolled to study medicine. But after one academic year of great sadness, I switched to the Faculty of Arts. There are half a dozen lessons I can give for that episode, but I prefer the most patently superstitious. I was abandoning the realm of stories, and they would not let me go," unquote. Now, not a few minds in this room, and I can see the faces of some of them, will be pondering how sincere those of us in government could possibly be when we pour encomiums and tributes on a sage like Chinua Achebe, who twice painfully rejected from two governments, which I served, and I'm still serving, one of Nigeria's highest honors, because of his anguished perception of an inexcusable gap between the potential of a country he loved so much and its performance to date. I can look anybody in the face and give a straight answer to that. Another answer would be, even from me as a well-known politician from Chinua Achebe's country, and so have been seen as part of the mess, no matter whatever we may be doing individually and collectively to deal with the mess that were created by us. My answer is simple. To those who may be wondering how sincere such tributes from those of us in government could possibly be, my answer would be that I agree with another universally celebrated writer, Dylan Thomas, who advised in 1953, quote, "There is only one position for an artist anywhere, and that is upright," unquote. It is because Chinua Achebe, whom we call the IROKO, name of the phenomenal African victory, had remained upright throughout his highly creative life, that we have gathered here tonight from all walks of life, government and those always opposed to government, writers and those who only read the written word, poets, novelists, critics, analysts, optimists, pessimists, iconoclasts, regime defenders, libertarians, and conservatives a true rainbow coalition to honor him, for he truly belongs to the ages. Thank you for honoring our invitation, and God bless.